Tonight on Connecticut's news station, he's now on one primary ballot and off another in New England. This time, we're talking former President Donald Trump with uncertainty over the 14th Amendment. We'll hear what he has to say about the latest challenge.
Plus another gloomy night with mist, drizzle, and fog. We'll talk about how long the clouds stick around and improvements for the weekend.
And a new survey showing Connecticut residents are not thrilled over the idea of banning the sale of new gas-powered cars. We'll hear from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle and tell you where the controversial proposal currently stands.
Breaking news now on Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin tonight on breaking news in New England now. Another state has barred former President Donald Trump from the GOP primary ballot. Thanks for joining us here on the News at 10. I'm Sarah Sanchez. Maine's Democratic Secretary of State has removed former President Trump from the state's primary ballot under the Constitution's insurrection clause. She's become the first election official to do so. Trump's campaign has responded, saying today's ruling is attempted election theft and represents the disenfranchisement of the American voter. Maine has only 4 electoral votes. It's actually one of only 2 states that splits those votes. Trump won a single elector in 2020, so if he becomes the Republican nominee, it could have big impacts on next year's election. In Colorado today, the Republican Party there appealed the state Supreme Court's decision that found him ineligible for presidency. And coming up later this half hour, we'll dive deeper into what's happening across the country. And for more, you can always download the free Fox 61 News app from the QR code right there on your screen and turn on push alerts so you can stay up to date on the latest. Switching gears here. First look at the forecast here. Dark, gloomy, damp. Gosh, just so gloomy, really. Meteorologist Ryan Breton is in for Rachel tonight. So, Ryan, any chance we're ever going to see any sun before the year ends?
It's coming, but I feel like we're running out of adjectives to describe this weather, Sarah. So we need a change coming pretty soon. It's been a gloomy, damp week, and that's not changing tonight. We do have a few showers out there. In between, there are areas of mist and drizzle that aren't showing up on radar, but some of the steadier showers are going through the Waterbury area, Bristol getting a little bit of rain, Plymouth as well, Morris, Litchfield, and as I mentioned, between these showers, there's mist and drizzle that's falling out there tonight too. The temperatures, and this has also been a theme of the week, really not moving, staying in the 40s at night and really staying in the 40s to near 50 during the day. We're 47 now in New Haven and 45 in Hartford. So we'll play you through the night, and it's more of the same, cloudy with showers, mist, and drizzle as you head out the door in the morning. Plan on more of that. The wettest part of the day should be the morning, though. I think in the afternoon we'll have somewhat drier air moving in, and the showers should start to taper off. Temperatures out the door in the low to mid 40s, and we only get into the mid and upper 40s tomorrow afternoon. So pretty much a repeat of the weather we have had much of this week. We will talk about when the sunshine returns, what it means for New Year's Eve too, all coming up.
Thank you, Ryan. New details out of Hartford tonight. Capital City Police have made an arrest in connection to the deadly dirt bike hit and run from over the summer. Avani Butler is now accused of hitting and killing David Hicks back in July. The crash happened at the intersection of Windsor and Loom Streets. Police say Butler left the scene after Hicks crashed. Butler is being held on $450,000 bond. New here at 10, Naugatuck police are putting $1,500 up for grabs. It'll go to whoever can help them find the robbery suspect who attacked an elderly man living in Oak Terrace last June. Police say it happened just before 6 p.m. on June 6th. The suspect entered the man's home, violently assaulted him, and then ransacked his home. If you know anything, give Naugatuck police a call. They're offering a cash reward for information that leads to an arrest. Also new tonight, a recently conducted survey shows Connecticut voters oppose a ban on the sale of new gas-powered vehicles in the state by 2035. That is state lawmakers on both sides of the aisle weighing in, while the battle over the proposal continues. Our Jake Garcia is live from the Fox 61 Sky Deck tonight with their reactions and a timeline on when lawmakers could make a decision. Jake.
Well, Sarah, the survey comes just a month after Governor Ned Lamont withdrew a proposal that would ban the sale of gas-powered vehicles by the year 2035, saying this is something state lawmakers need to address in the new year. A recent state proposal would ban the sale of new gas vehicles in the state of Connecticut by 2035. But a survey conducted by RG Strategies asked 500 Connecticut residents their thoughts on the proposal. 59% of people who responded were opposed, with 35% supporting the move. House Minority Leader Vincent Candelora says this is another example of what he's hearing across the state.
What it demonstrates is just the fact that the infrastructure is not there. You know, people are worried about being able to charge these vehicles, reliability. So I'm not surprised that we're seeing those results.
Senator Kevin Kelly believes there's a number of reasons why voters are opposed.
People of Connecticut are not in favor of this policy for a number of reasons, both from leaving poor and working class families behind, to a ban on choice, to just that, you know, a majority of folks think that this is an extreme government overreach.
Representative Joe Gresko says this would give the state more time to prepare for more electric vehicles on the road.
We have the luxury of hardening our grid before then. We have the luxury of getting more EV chargers on our highways and on our state roads with this much lead time.
Gresko believes people would still have a choice if the proposal passes, but would prepare the state of Connecticut for an evolving market.
But you could still have a gas-fired engine. You could still sell and buy a used gas-fired engine. This is just a slow transition to what the market is telling us is coming.
Kelly says the opposition in the legislature is more about how the transition away from gas-powered vehicles will happen rather than the transition itself.
I don't think people are necessarily opposed to wanting to reduce greenhouse emissions and also to have a cleaner environment. I don't think there's any disagreement there. The disagreement is, how do we get there? And when we're going to do this, do we leave people behind? And what is it going to cost? And these are really where the rubber meets the road.
And Governor Lamont has urged state lawmakers to take up this issue in the next legislative session, which is expected to get underway in February. Live from the Fox 61 Sky Deck, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thank you, Jake. Also new here at 10, Manchester police say one of their officers has been injured after a car crashed into one of their cruisers this morning. They say it happened at 7:15 on Main Street. The officer had their emergency lights on when they were hit. They suffered minor injuries. The other driver was not hurt. Police are asking anyone who witnessed the crash to give them a call. Also new tonight, embattled Hartford bar, the Russian Lady, will be closed again to the general public this holiday weekend. It's currently in the middle of two separate investigations of violence. The most recent one on Saturday. A man was shot after a fight spilled out of the club and onto the street. The club reopened earlier this month after agreeing to close. The bar was being investigated after a fight between a patron and club security. Our state's Department of Consumer Protection says the club has agreed to close through New Year's, but will open for some private parties and during UConn games at the XL Center. The Russian Lady's liquor license is not suspended, but Liquor Control is reviewing the incident to see if it needs to be. Meanwhile, Hartford police are investigating this shooting. A group is coming together to push for Connecticut towns and cities to have the option to ban the sale of small alcoholic nip bottles, but they're facing some opposition. Fox's Julia LeBlanc has the story from the Green in New Haven.
We are standing next to the exact situation here on the New Haven Green that Nix the Nip members are trying to avoid. People using these small alcohol bottles and then just disposing of them wherever they please. However, people who are against this proposal say banning the nips in certain towns and cities across the state is simply just not the answer. If you walk around Connecticut, you're bound to stumble upon one of these.
I just started collecting them to see how many I would get in a walk.
Something Cynthia Chesky started a year ago, collecting more than 60,000 nip bottles in Bristol alone, inspiring her to create a group with another advocate, calling it CT Towns Nixing the Nip.
It's an environmental issue, and we want towns that care about the environmental issues to have the choice to ban nips if they choose to.
Now, the group is hoping to work with lawmakers to draft a bill to change the current law, which was passed some 90 years ago.
I'm looking at Connecticut saying we can do better with our trash issue. And the nips are just another component of the trash that is affecting our environment.
It's chaotic and it doesn't work.
Larry Cafaro with Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of Connecticut agrees nip bottles contribute to litter. But this proposal, he says, would do more harm than good.
One thing we want the public to be sure of is a consistency in policy, especially policy that regulates an intoxicant.
2 years ago, Cafaro and others with the nonprofit 3 Tiers for Connecticut pushed lawmakers to do something about this issue.
We came up with an idea to charge a surcharge, an environmental fee, specifically for the purpose of cleaning up nip bottles.
That 5-cent fee on each nip bottle goes back into the municipalities to work on cleanup efforts. So far, it's generated $9 million for all 169 towns and cities. But Chesky feels the problem is still persisting.
The 5 cents, it isn't solving the problem because the 5 cents people are still throwing them out on the ground.
Now, Cafaro says that package stores in Connecticut sell about 94 million nip bottles each year, and for a lot of them, this would be a big hit to their business. However, we do want to remind people once again, this is all just a proposal at this point. We are in New Haven. Julia LeBlanc, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.